I know you've been crushing it out there, and I know your background's kind of cool. I think it's a neat story, and it's a good change up instead of. I just think a lot of people, the last thing they want to hear is, oh yeah, Brian was in Phoenix, and I was in Vegas at a franchise conference. It's cool to talk about, and you have a pretty strong business. It's just cool to talk about other people's stories because I think people resonate, more with someone else rather than me or Mario. And Mario says the same things over and over again, and some people are like, yeah, but how do I get there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that it just depends, but I think we'll probably have 15 or 20 people maybe live if I had to guess, and then we'll share it out to I think there's 320 that will get a copy of it.
Yeah, I think it will be good because it's obviously I have no technical skills or SEO knowledge.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay.
So I mean, you'll see this. Yeah, you'll see the story even more so. Kind of, I'm not going to go into my full-blown story because that could be an hour, if not longer.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important for people to understand kind of where I come from, so that it gives them, the confidence. Because everybody I talk to knows 10 times more than I do. But yet
but you just made it happen is the difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of that's what my whole life. So
all right, well, let's do this. Let me start chit chat, and then you have the presenter. When you're ready, you can hit show screen, but I'm going to hit start broadcast so we can at least talk to everybody.
Okay.
Hang on one sec. All right.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Brian Anderson. I have Leanne Price and Zach Anderson here. And no, before you ask, Zach and I are not related in any way. Just a coincidence. We have the same last name. But we're going to get started in just a second. And I know that many of you that hear this will be listening to the replay and not the live call. But for people like Bob and Fred and Gary and Jeff and Paul and others that I see on the call, awesome. We appreciate any questions you want to ask Zach. And this is just to kind of get it going. This is going to be one of the first of many calls as we reorganize and revamp Offline Renegades to fit kind of 2012, like summer 2012. So we're going to be doing a lot of case study discussions like today. We're going to do a lot of technical Q&A calls and a lot of just sharing stories and strategies. Really, and then there's some other stuff that if you haven't heard, there's the addition of the Facebook group that a lot of people requested. And no, it doesn't replace the Skype group. It's more complementary, but it's just a more archived way to search things and just another way to build the community. So anyway, Zach has been a member of Offline Renegades for a heck of a long time, and I'm going to turn it over to him in a second. I'm going to let him get ready, and we're going to record the call. Leanne is going to record it, so you guys can ask any question you want. I'm probably going to save them to the end and then ask him so I can let him go through a few of his slides. And Zach, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Hey, welcome. Okay, why don't you go ahead and share your screen, and Leanne, when you're ready, you go ahead and start it, and Zach, you take it away, and then I'll hit you with questions at the end.
Sounds good. Can you see my screen, everybody?
Yep, see it perfect. And you guys on the call, if you want to let us know if you can see and hear us okay, that'd be great. Hey, Winner. Welcome, Winner.
Hey, Brian, and also, if you want to ask me questions during the presentation, I have no problem with that. I've actually done so many presentations and seminars and stuff over my career that sometimes it actually makes a lot of sense when people ask me questions right on the spot because they may forget it or something like that, or if you find a point.
Oh, I love it then. If I see a topical one, I'll ask it, or if I have one that I think other people have, I'll interject in, but I'll try not to interrupt the flow, but thanks.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it because it is, I'm coming from a completely different approach than typically what other people have in my experience with talking to people in offline renegades. I'll just kind of go through a little bit of background of who I am. My name is Zach Anderson, and I have actually been in sales since I was 18 years old, and it's been primarily in the financial services market. My dad was actually an executive at Bank of America back in the day, and he kind of forced me into the banking world. So I've always kind of been in the financial services and always on the sales side of things. I was in the mortgage industry from 1996 to 2000, which was a pretty good time. I actually worked for someone and learned just an incredible amount of knowledge from them. And I actually kind of have done some very strange things throughout my career. So basically, doing very, very successful in the mortgage industry from 1996 to 2000, and just completely up and walked away from a $100,000 plus job. And I went over to the computer hardware industry. Had no experience, no knowledge of it, but it was during the dot-com boom, and one of my friends started a company where they sold Sun Microsystems. So walked over there and did that between 2000 and 2003, and actually that was a very, very interesting time because I was selling to a lot of companies like PayPal. They were one of my clients, Citigroup, and we were doing this all over the phone. So I sold computer hardware over the phone. My largest um, purchase order that I ever received was $1.2 million. And that was actually all done over the phone, and that actually grossed me in just one paycheck over $78,000. So I've always been used to selling really, really high-ticket items from the mortgage industry to all the way over to the computer industry. Well, in 2003, you remember, I think it was the year that, or 2000, you know, the bubble and the dot-com failure and all that kind of stuff. So I quit that again and went over and started my own mortgage company from scratch. And I ran that from 2003. Yeah, I just decided to just walk away and walked into the mortgage company and just did it in the backyard of my house in my garage. And
you know what, Zach, it's so funny. My dad started a mortgage company. He was a realtor after he got out of the Army in the 90s, and I actually ran it with him from the late 90s into, like, say, 2006.
Oh, really?
And that's actually where I did the most. I wonder how much SEO, that's what I'm going to build this up to, is we actually were building across his, 3 or 4 states. We were doing maybe 100 loans a month off the internet, a lot of the neg-am loans and the loans that should have gone away. But I tell you what, it's talking about a funny story. Yeah, my dad did it, and I didn't know much about it, but I helped on a lead generation standpoint.
Yeah,
So,
see, and
very cool.
that's really cool. And basically, I think a lot of me going through all these industries really has helped me out where I'm at right now. Because I actually didn't have any real estate agents or anything, referral partners like that. The way I generated my business was through direct mail, and then just basically system and process and lead capture on the internet, but no SEO. So I would have a system where I had a basically like a web form, and I maybe had an agreement with Microsoft, and people would fill it out, and I'd take them through a process. So I never did the SEO part, but there was kind of a lead capture online in a sense. But I did sell my company right before the crash, which was nice. So I got out of it, and then worked for that company from 2007 to 2011, and I couldn't take it. I mean, I was making over $300,000 a year in the industry between 2007 and 2011 at that company, but the regulations got so harsh and so difficult that I just couldn't do it anymore. And I don't know if do you know Laura Betterly, Brian?
I do. I met Laura. She was at our event in Fort Lauderdale and gave a talk on PPC. But I talked to her before, but that was the first time I met her in person. Super nice. I really enjoyed meeting her. Very nice lady.
Yeah, I got an email from Ryan Dice because I followed all the guys, throughout the last, all these times just watching them. Got an email from Ryan Dice. I bought Laura Betterly's course on Google Places and literally just went through the whole entire thing and then quit my job with no experience.
You including your job, man. I see a pattern here. I like it.
I love it. Quit my job, have no experience in doing what I did, and started Molo Media in 2011. I've only been in business for about 13 months now completely. I started with absolutely 0 clients and just basically went for it.
So when I met you, Zach, a year ago, you had literally just started then.
No, just started. 0 experience. Nothing. I had not probably maybe 1 or 2 clients at that point.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So didn't really know kind of what I was doing, and so really this last year and probably only the last 3 months, I've really figured out and honed down exactly what I do, exactly what I want to do moving forward. But up until then, it was basically just, crashing cars against the wall and just trying to figure out how I kind of go about doing things. And really what I came down to is I am an online business development agency. I help businesses utilize the internet to grow their business. And that doesn't mean SEO, that doesn't mean a website, it means everything. So I really try to combine an overall business process that you would have in a brick and mortar and take it online. And the way I look at this is I call it a digital curb appeal, and it's really your online presence. It's just like in real estate. I relate a lot of things back to real estate because I understand that world because I was in it for such a long time. When you're going and buying a house, if you look at a house like that, it has no curb appeal. You're not going to be wanting to go purchase that house. Well, if you have a house and you come across it looks like this, you're going to want to purchase that house. I relate this all back to my my business, my clients and things. They have to look incredibly good online, and the beauty about the internet is you can be anybody you want. You can create any type of presence you desire. You can target any kind of client you want or prospect you want by building out a proper presence online. And so this was my focus in the very, very beginning of my business, and I actually went in a lot of different directions, and I've come full circle all the way back around to it. And I'll get into that a little bit more, what I mean by that, but it really allowed me to kind of start to really grow my business over the last 4 or 5 months to where it is now, and really what the type of clients that I'm actually acquiring and kind of going through. So basically, I'm going to take you through how I got clients in the beginning, where I'm kind of going, and then where I'm going in the future. In the beginning, I leveraged my personal network to get all of my clients. I basically utilized Jing. I don't know, are you familiar with Jing? Brian?
Yep. I was on mute, Zach. Yes, I am.
Okay, well, if anybody out there isn't familiar with Jing, it's from screencast.com. You can kind of go there. It's TechSmith. And basically it allows you to record your screen for 5 minutes. That's the longest you can go. And I use it religiously, actually, all the time to help train my outsourcers and just communicate with my clients. Basically, all I did was go and target each one of my networks I have, my dentist, my whoever I knew, and I would record a screenshot of me searching the internet and not finding their business, and then sent them an email with the screencast. And I never called them. They actually called me back or emailed me back. So it was a really unique way I kind of did that and was able to acquire all my business that way. Then as I worked through that, I went into what I did was called video marketing. You can all go look at an example of it. It's BellevueChiropractors.org, and what you'll see is just basically a optimized press site with me recorded a video of myself, kind of just going over some statistics and then an opt-in form. And basically what I did from there was created a very, very short email, and I have no problem giving everybody the entire email that I did. It's like 3 sentences, and sent it out to all the Bellevue chiropractors that I had my assistant pull the email addresses, and I was able to, out of 25 emails, get 1 deal. And I did this in a couple different markets, and every time I did it, I got a client. And I was only sending out 20 to 70 emails at a time max. So that was really, really successful. And then I stopped doing that because it turned to the point where I was getting a lot of referrals from the clients that I was working with, and basically I haven't done any marketing since that last one that I showed you right there, and right now I'm working on 100% referrals. But I'm building right now a high volume client acquisition strategy, and this is basically the reason why it took me this long, is because I had to figure out what the hell I was doing in the first place. Well, now that I know what I'm doing and now that I know where I'm going, I'm actually creating a brand new website that's very, very specific about what I do, and then I'm going to do webinar series and utilize direct mail and emails, and have a low-cost teaser as the initial sell to these businesses. And I'm going to target very specific niches, and the first niche that I'm going to target is dentists, and I'll kind of go through why I target the dentists later on, but basically it's one of the ones that I'm the most familiar with right now. So basically, what do I sell? And I tell this to all my clients in the very, very beginning. Everything that I'm doing for them, they should consider a business asset. It is an asset to their business, and they can utilize that to sell their business or do whatever they want to do or value their business in the end. If you're doing SEO or whatever it is for your client and they are ranking and getting leads from their 24-hour salesman, that's an asset to their business, and they need to invest in it in order for them to actually get a return out of it. You never make money unless you spend money. So it's a really important thing that I always communicate across to all my potential clients and my current clients itself. So basically what I sell is high-end custom websites, and what I mean by that is I build everything on WordPress, and the first thing that I ever sold was a website. I had no experience. I still don't know how to write any code whatsoever. I can barely even make a backlink, but I do know how to manage people, and I know how to find good talent. So I have someone that can actually do all the design for me and do all the coding for me. And I build currently everything on WordPress. I actually just recently got a client that has Joomla, so I'm learning a little bit about that just to kind of figure out how that works.
You'll really like WordPress once you spend time in Joomla.
Oh no, I already did.
I was a Joomla guy that went to WordPress, so let me tell you, I did Joomla and Drupal, and then I went the other way. And it's cool for some things. It's got a better framework than WordPress for certain things, but man, ease of use, it's got a learning curve that is much steeper.
Yeah, I spent 2 days because I had to redo a client's on-page SEO. Took me 2 days to figure it out. 2 days to go through the whole thing to figure out how to delete pages, do the meditate. I mean, I was
and to do
insane.
SEO in Joomla, it's tough. It's not as easy as an all-in-one plugin in WordPress.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, geez, you can have a plugin that basically you press a button, you're done. It's crazy. So yeah, everything's done in WordPress now, and so I do high-end custom websites. I do what I call custom templated websites because the first thing I ever did as in this business was a website. I've actually had the same virtual assistant since then. So because of that, I've always had him build websites for me. So I have like 4 or 5 custom WordPress themes that I can launch and have up and running in like a day. Because I've built in all the plugins like Woof Themes does and stuff like that, and all the technical stuff on the backside to make it really, really simple for me to actually launch something. And the reason why I do that is because, I have a package, and I can go through that in a little bit later. Mobile webs. I build a lot of mobile websites. Every single one of my clients has a mobile website, so it's just a part of what I do. I do local SEO, which is obviously just strictly Google Maps. I separate them out, but yet they're one and the same. But I call it local SEO. And then organic SEO, which is more of the traditional, just getting the website ranked itself. But as we all know, they're one and the same now, but kind of not really. It's kind of an odd thing that I've noticed with all of my clients, and I can go into that later on with some of the questions and answers. I do a lot of video development. I have clients that, it's nothing like in-person video, but I will do voiceovers with, animations and pictures and different things like that. So I do have the capability of doing that. And a lot of that is self-taught, and then I hire it out. Podcast development. This is a new thing that I just started doing. One of my clients requested it, so I started doing it. Yeah, it's interesting. It actually works pretty well. Social media development. Now, what I mean by that is I don't actually do any of the daily updates or anything like that. But what I do is like the timeline covers, the images, any applications, any connections of anything, any of the backgrounds for Twitter, for YouTube, all of that type of stuff. So it's not any of the updating or anything like that. It's more of the technical side of things. Text messaging. I'm just now starting to get into this. I just brought on a new client just yesterday actually that in the quote was text messaging, so I'll be starting that here next month. I've done it a lot myself, so I'm familiar with it. It's just I haven't done it for a client. All of my clients have call tracking and recording. I use Twilio and then a custom software that basically all my clients can log in and monitor and watch track their calls. And then I do an appointment reminder service. I use this with my dentist right now and none of my other clients. And then, go ahead. Do you have a question?
No, I was just saying same thing on the dentist side on appointment reminders. I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm. And that's Chad Wyatt's WordPress plugin.
Yeah, I remember that plugin.
Yeah.
Yep.
It works great. I mean, I like it. And then I do PPC management, and I'm only doing that for dentists right now. It's only in that realm that I'm comfortable with right now.
Well, let me stop you for a second, Zach, because I know that you're not a super technical guy, but man, you just hit almost every aspect of the business that you could get into, right? You've hit everything. So how much of this do you do yourself, and how much do you outsource? Do you quarterback everything, or do you actually do all the work? Do you mind sharing that?
I quarterback absolutely everything. I mean, completely. So everything that you see on this screen, I can do a little bit of each of it if I have to jump in, but I have no skills or technical knowledge of any of it whatsoever. Video development, I actually can do video development. I will do that for my own stuff when I'm doing it for marketing, But for all my client stuff, I outsource that podcast development. I have a guy that basically I send him the file. He does whatever he needs to do, and then I will actually upload it in my client's website on WordPress so that it's then tied to. I use a plugin that ties it into iTunes, and it's automatically done. The call tracking and recording, that's just press a button. The appointment reminder, again, the client's doing that. PPC management, I have a guy that basically sets them up for me and checks them out every couple of weeks, make sure everything's going well. And then, of course, like the websites, I have no idea how to do any of that stuff. So basically, absolutely everything is outsourced.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people are in the same boat. They know just enough to be dangerous. They really want to build their business. They want to market. They want to sell. They want to create their company, but they want to work on their business, not in their business. And I know one of the reasons I was dying to have you talk is I know you've done exactly that. So for everybody on the call and people who listen to this later, and you say, for Mary, and Mary, you know who you are, that we chat sometimes, you don't have to be super technical. If you look at what Zach's doing, he's all over the board. And you know what? I bet he doesn't spend 5 hours a week in any of these areas other than running at high level. So this is good stuff. Thanks, Zach.
Well, Brian, you want to know something? And I don't really like to tell this to too many people, but I golf every single week, one day out of the week.
Yeah, me too. I don't tell anybody other than this call, you guys.
Yeah,
That's
please
so
don't
funny.
be saying anything. I went golfing on Tuesday, actually.
I'm going today.
I think I might go later on today. But yeah, I mean, I want everybody to understand this, and the only reason that I'm confident in saying these types of things because I've built businesses so many times. I've been in sales my whole life. You don't have to work tireless hours. I spend maybe 35 hours a week on this business, and I'll answer any question. I'll give you anything of my own stuff. I have no problem giving away absolutely everything because I believe that people should be successful and enjoy their lives and spend a lot of time with their families. I don't work on the weekends. I don't work after 5, but I work really hard. I do work really hard.
So, hey, Zach, let's talk about something that I always laugh about. Do you ever see a time as you build, say, the past 12 to 18 months when you only worked, and don't laugh at me, but you only worked 4 or 5 hours a week? I mean, I imagine that probably was not the case.
Never. I work a lot.
Me too. And so the only reason I want to say that for everybody listening is a lot of that 4-hour work week and 4-hour myth that you hear, it's created by quote-unquote gurus that they may work 4 hours because they send you emails a few times a week and make some money. I just want to be completely honest with you. I create some products and stuff, but I haven't done it in a long time. I mean, I literally, my goal is to work on my business with clients. When I finish this call, I'm going to a networking launch with this lady I blew off earlier this week at 12:30, at my time, Eastern time. I'm going to then play golf with someone who is a prospective client, and also a buddy, he's a dentist. And so I am always working, but I try to manage it. I don't want to be working on this. Like sometimes some of my West Coast friends will call me at like 10, 11 o'clock at night on Skype, and I'm like, I just can't talk because it ruins the quality of life. I'd rather talk to them during the day. And so for all of you that think, hey, I only want to work 4 hours, it's not going to work, I promise you. And
it's never going to work.
Tell you it works, they've got a different model than you have. And you can do this model and work a modest amount of hours, less than 40 hours, 30 to 40 hours, and still make plenty of money.
Oh, you can make plenty of money. And just so you know, when I ran my mortgage company, I was doing, I think, the 1 year where I grossed about $960,000, and I had 2 employees was all, and it was me, and I worked maybe 30 hours a week. And this business is the exact same. I will do the exact same in this business, and I know that I can do this just because of the way that I've already started to structure it and how you can kind of go about doing it. You don't have to work a lot of hours, but it's a job. You've got to put the time in. You've got to do the work. You have to put the consistency in and day out, but you've also got to, it's not going to be the 4-hour work week. It's a business. It just flat out is a business. So clients, right now, I have 17 reoccurring clients. I probably have a total of 25, if not more, that I do things here and there for. But I have 17 reoccurring clients that pay me every single month to do the work for them. And I want everybody to know on the call that I do not do, I'm not an SEO person. I don't just do SEO. I I do everything. Every single one of my clients, except for two, I've built a website for and I host them. So, I do a lot of stuff. They call me up when their email's broken. They call me up when, different things are broken because I have given them the ability, I've shown them I have capability of doing a lot of things, even though I'm not doing it. So then they have problems, they call me up. And so I try and create inside of my business retention and the highest amount of retention that I can. I haven't lost a client yet, knock on wood. Now I'm going to lose one next month probably. But anyways, I really try to create an incredible amount of value and resource for my clients themselves. But I'm very, strict with how I go about how they can communicate with me and everything like that, and I'll go through that in a little bit. But I'll go through exactly every single one of the clients that I currently have. I have plumbing companies, which are awesome because their emergency plumbing is, he makes, this company I work with, they do gross revenues of over $1 million a year, and 50% of his business comes from me right now. So he loves me. I'm the cheapest advertising he's ever done in his life. I have several HVAC companies. Again, those ones are really good because they're high-ticket items. They have no problem paying me the money that they pay me on a monthly basis. I have several dentists, and again, these guys love me. I don't know if you heard this, Brian, but I was talking to one of my dentists last month, just going over and asking him, how many new patients did you get? Guess how many he said?
Right in here. Let's see, in a month. And this is what kind of dentist? General dentist? Maybe
general dentist, just general dentist, pure general.
15 or 20?
84.
Nice. And that's in a month off of a combination of online type services.
Yep, PPC and organic. And then after that, I was like, whoa, really? So then I went and called my other dentist and asked him, and he said 48. And I'm like,
what's interesting about that is one of the only industries where I get the best actual tracking for my clients are medical guys. They have the infrastructure, right? AC guys, like my brother in little small shops, they try to track their lead sources, but they're just happy to get business. Medical guys, they have office managers, receptionists. My ophthalmologist guy, he tracks everything. I get an email at the end of the month. Brian, 14 deals or 14 clients, from quote unquote, as he calls it, the internet. So, man, that's an unbelievable number, though. Have you figured out how many are pay-per-click and how many are organic?
That is what I'm actually having my PPC guy build me in some stuff with call tracking right now, so that I can really hone it out, because I have no idea. And that's one thing I'm horrible at, is trying to figure out that technical side of the conversion, because I just started doing this PPC like 4 months ago. So I'm not very familiar with how to get it, but so I did some research and now I know how to do it, so now I just need to backtrack it so that I can see how much it's actually working on the PPC versus the organic side. But my guy that got 48, he does no PPC. That was all pure internet. I sat down and talking to him, and I went, really? And so we went back. I've maxed his practice out. He can't take any more. That's his number, 48. So he's opening up bringing on 2 new chairs and revamping his office. That's a pretty good story.
Yeah,
and I have that. I have that on video. I have both of them on video. So I'm excited about that. Roofing companies. This is again a great company. Geez, I mean, roofs are expensive. And especially here in the Pacific Northwest. Gosh, we get so much moss and rain. So, yeah, that's a good one. This is one that's overlooked by people. Montessori schools, and this was my first client.
Yeah.
I spend $3,000 a month on my 2 children at Montessori school. Do the math on that if you get them in at 1 year old all the way to 5. I mean, that's insane how much one individual child is worth to that school. I don't charge them very much because they were my first client, but I've always said that I want to go after that marketplace, but I will here eventually. But that is a very, very, very good area to be in. Resort and spa. I have one client that's a resort and spa, and they're very large. They do over $10 million a year in gross. And I love this client because they really allow me to do unique things, and they have a PR firm that works for them, so a lot of the SEO is already done for me because they get a write-up in Condé Nast, so when I just create backlinks to that, and I'm good there. So that was a great one. Marriage counselor. This is another phenomenal one that you know, a lot of people overlook. It's high traffic. I mean, um, you know, think about it. You know, when you're you know, having troubles with your wife and your wife tells you, you know, you need to work on something, what are you going to do? You're going to go search the internet. So this one, that's been a really good one for me. Chiropractors, obviously everybody knows about that. I have a consulting firm, a business management consulting firm that I work with, and I basically do just SEO for them, but also a lot of other just technical things. That's the people that I learned how to do the podcast with. So that's a great one. And this last one's this is my brand new client that I just got yesterday, tanning salon, and I'm actually trying some new crazy stuff with them. So I think I can do a really good job with them, so I'm going to be really intrigued with how well this works out down the road. And last but not least, that people overlook, marketing consultants. I have 2 of them. They bring me clients. They don't do any of the work. They just basically go into, like, one of them's she works with dentists. She goes and does the budgeting and the marketing overview for the dentists and then brings them to me to do the work. And then I have another guy who used to run a huge ad agency in Seattle, and he sold it, and basically now he does consulting work, and I do all of the stuff for him. So he brings me website deals, SEO deals, all kinds of crazy things. So I actually don't have to do any of the work. They just bring me the clients, which is, I mean, I do the work, but I don't have to do any of the effort. They bring me the clients. They do all the selling.
Now, does your, like, I have one, I know you said you had 2 of these. I have one person like this that's kind of like a referral source. Now, what her company does is branding, corporate identity, print and media buys, radio station, just everything, but they don't touch anything online. And so anytime they get an online deal, really, they just call me and I pay them a kickback. Is that the same kind of relationship you have, or is
Nope.
it similar?
I don't pay either of the 2 kickback at all.
Beautiful.
They just they like my services. One of the guys that runs
I pay 10% recurring to these guys, and maybe I don't have to, so that's great feedback.
Yeah. Well, I do have one other guy that I should say I have 2 marketing consultants and 1 social media consultant. And the social media consultant guy, I pay a kickback of 20%, but he brings me big deals. He brought me the resort and spa. He's bringing me another deal right now. He's really connected into the chambers, so I have no problem doing that. But yeah, those are interesting.
It's like a salesperson, you don't have to pay, and you only pay for results. So it's how do you complain?
Yeah, and I price everything with it built in, so it doesn't matter. You know, and they don't shop you. I mean, this isn't like this is the easiest industry in the world, man. If I could close deals like I can close deals here in the mortgage industry, I would have never left the mortgage industry. That was the most competitive marketplace I've ever seen in my life. So, you know, I don't think I've ever actually gone up against another company in quoting an SEO deal or a website or anything like that. So it's always fun. So what do I charge? Now this is, I kind of went backwards on this. I know a lot of people when they first start out, they charge very, very little. I just never really went that route. I always kind of charged a lot, or at least that's what people tell me, but I thought it was a little because all I did was the research and how much the regular firms charged, and they charged an arm and a leg. Those large agencies and different things like that. So I thought I was actually undercharging, but then what I realized is I was overcharging compared to what our community thinks. Funny thing is, I didn't even know the Warrior Forum existed till about 2 months into what I was doing. So I didn't even know you know, that there was a community out there like it is. So I guess it was a blessing in disguise because I just started charging in the beginning. So my primary business is what I call is the local search. And that was really the online business development, the presence, the overall everything. And I package absolutely everything together. So my setup is anywhere from $12.95 to $2,700, depending on the type of client and what I'm actually doing. Website. I always have to create a new website for the clients, and I own the site and the URL. It's in my contracts, so I build it. That's why I have my own custom thing, because I can build it in like 5 days from beginning to end. Pictures, videos, that's included in my setup fee. That's 5 videos, 10 pictures. Setting up directories, you know, I don't even know, it's probably 120 different directories that I do. I do the research on the keywords and the setup of all that Google Places and the optimization. And then I charge anywhere from $9.97 to $14.97, and that's per location. I have clients with multiple locations, so it just depends on the size and the competitive nature of the marketplace itself. And that's my primary business. Like I said, I package everything together. So when I get a client, I quote a new website, the setup, the research, the local SEO, the directory citation, the organic SEO, because the organic and the local have to be the one and the same. I also do reputation management built into it, call tracking built into it, and then appointment reminder built into it if it's a dentist. So I have a overall package that I do every single time. And then my secondary business is custom website development, and this just has always been a part of my business, and I didn't embrace it till about 3 months ago, and my wife told me to, so I did. And I embraced, you know, you gotta listen. She's like, you've been building websites since you start. Why don't you just do that? I'm like, okay. And you know, next month later, I got a client for $9,700. And
now, what kind of client paid you the $10,000? What niche were they in?
they're actually that consulting firm.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is a year ago, you guys, I got one of the top 2 or 3 websites I've ever done, because I don't do a lot of high-end websites, but I got a $10,000 website, and I outsourced it to basically my #1 go-to guy, if you will, external guy who's really good. I paid him $1,750. He knocked it out of the park, and he's offshore too. So imagine that price if you lived in Eastern Europe. And I just picked up last week another couple $1,000s of revision that'll be like 80% profit. Now, what about you, Zach? Now, honestly, from a project management and a time standpoint, I don't really enjoy the website work as much because there's not as much long-term ROI. But at $10,000, there's plenty of profit for me. But if it was a $500 website, are you still wanting to do it, or do you want to just pass it?
Nope, I don't do it. This is why I didn't develop websites. And then my wife kicked me in the butt and said, just charge more. Oh, okay. So I only do these. I've got 3 other quotes out there right now that are over this dollar figure, and I will probably land at least 2 of them. It's a huge market. My designer and my developer are awesome. This website will be done in less than 30 days from beginning to end, and the quality will be that equal. See, the only reason I know this is because of my guy that I work with that ran one of the top agencies in Seattle, like major agencies. For the same website, they would be charged over $100,000. So if I'm going to these mid-tier companies that are doing 10, my other client that I have a quote out for that's well over $10,000, they're a $100 million a year company. But if they would go to a traditional agency, that cost of that website would be over $100,000. So I'm saving them a tremendous amount of money. I think, and what I've noticed is there's this mid-tier market that is not being served, and it's this market that's anywhere from $10 million to say $100 million in gross revenues of a business. And so I've started to focus a little bit more into that area, and mainly on just website development. Haven't got into the SEO portion or any of that other type of thing because I've just noticed that marketplace, which is interesting. So that's why I've kind of gone down this route, and I will continue to go down this route, but always this is going to be my primary business, which is the local search to the small to medium-sized companies. So what do I use? I'm really into technology and system and process and organization, and so I'm heavy into this to make sure everything works well. I'm using Infusionsoft right now for my CRM. I've been using Infusionsoft for like 6 years now in my mortgage business. Very comfortable with it, but I've noticed that lately it's been getting very, very clunky with their revisions and things.
It's also difficult. I mean, just to be honest, Zach, for everybody on the call, I would say that is a monster learning curve to really get all the power of Infusionsoft down. Like when I first tried it, you are not going to, within a week or 2, be comfortable using Infusionsoft to really run all the if-thens, all the cool sequencing you can do. just not going to happen.
If anybody listening to this call and they're considering a CRM, do not go with Infusionsoft unless you're going to be running a business like Ryan Dice's. It is way
Right.
too complicated.
I completely agree. Yeah.
It is so over the top. I know it well, and I get confused. But I love automation. So I'm testing out Office Autopilot right now. I don't know if anybody knows what that is.
I know Frank Kern switched over to that recently. He sent me an email, of course, promoting it. And, yeah, Steve Rosenbaum uses it. A couple other people I know. So I hear it's a good product. I don't know much about it.
I did a complete, and the only reason I'm actually moving right now is because I have a new business segment that I'm developing right now that's going to potentially be very, very large, and I needed a very specific feature with an affiliate portal, and so Office Autopilot did exactly what I needed to do on the affiliate side, and so I made them give me a complete demo, and it's really simple, and it does everything that a offliner would need, and I'm big into CRMs. I think if you don't have a CRM, that's the first thing you need to get. I don't care if you use Outlook. Do something that's going to keep your clients in a singular area that can remind you of tasks that you need to do. You know, that's extremely important. I use Raven tools for reporting, and that's just basically for analytics and rankings. I don't use the full power of it, and I probably should. I just don't have time to really dig into it. I'd love something more simple than that because all I do really use it for is the analytics and the rankings and how it packages it into a nice report. By the way, I send a report to all my clients only monthly, and I do a Jing overview of every single one of them myself. I don't communicate them one-on-one. Everything is done through video, FYI, just so everyone knows. That's a very, very good way of doing things. I use QuickBooks for my accounting. I use Odesk religiously for all of my outsourcing. I know that a lot of people use a lot of different things. I know a lot of people believe in having full-time employees, and I do have full-time employees, but I have only 2 of them, and they're a WordPress developer and a designer. And then I have 7 part-time that are project-oriented. I don't actually have right now a dedicated SEO person. And there's a lot of reasons that I could go through why I don't. And a lot of it has to do with my confusion because I am so glad about the latest update. It has just made my life so much easier that I'm really excited about it. So I'm actually in the process right now of looking for one more full-time that's actually going to handle the SEO part of it because this new update just made SEO the easiest thing on the planet from my perspective. Before it was too complicated. Now it's simple because you don't have to do very much. Social ADR, I use it for social bookmarking and stuff.
That's so funny. That's my go-to social product right now.
Is it?
I'm a big fan. I'm friends with Ben Roy. That is a good product, you guys. Anybody listening to this, Social Adder, very good.
And I'm testing Sin, so I don't even know. I'm just going to go and see what it does. I was just told by someone from OR about it, and so I'm going to sign up for it for a couple months and play with it and see what it is, see what it does. But I love social bookmarking because I can go in and use Spin Rewriter and spin something, go throw it in there, and I'm done. I mean, it takes 2 seconds.
Yep.
Animoto, I have the super account at Animoto. I have a reseller account. I spent the $600 because I developed so many videos. I can resell videos to clients. There's like 3 different levels in Animoto: the free, the professional, and then there's a reseller. I bought the reseller because I have a VA at Odesk that basically I just give them the client's name and they go make me my 5 videos with all the key categories and everything. I'm done. And I can sell them to clients. And I also can then resell the videos to them on a one-off basis if I need to as well. I use Fiverr religiously for all my monthly work. I've never built a backlink myself. I don't even know how. I mean, every time I need to do something like in a footer of a website, I have to go type in how do you write a backlink, or I go into WordPress and recreate it in the visual, and then go to the code and cut and paste it. I mean, I'm horrible, but that's why you outsource, because there's people that are really good at the things that they should be good at. So I use Fiverr to do all of my monthly work, and with this new update, it's actually scaled it really down so I don't have to do very much on a monthly basis, and I'm having good results. I religiously use iWriter, MediaPiston, and Article Z. I write a lot, and I use those. I use iWriter more than anything right now, just because of their pure speed. I use MediaPiston. I don't know if anybody knows who this is. I use MediaPiston for content on websites because they're very, very good writers for the price point. I don't outsource my writing to Odesk or anything like that because it doesn't make any sense. I can have something done so fast with iWriter that I can have it back in less than 12 hours. I use to spin anything, I use Spin Rewriter. I won't use anything else. I don't know if anybody knows what Spin Rewriter is, but it's a synonym-based rewriter that's web-based, that's very, very intuitive. You can rewrite an article extremely quickly and it sounds real. I don't really spin anything anymore, so since the new update, with the exception of my bookmarking descriptions. It's the only thing I'm spinning right now. So it's actually made things even easier because your description is so short, it doesn't take me very long. And then I use LBL Robot for my reviews. I mean, I'm sure that I'm missing something out there, but for the most part, this is what I use primarily in my business on oh, you know what? I did miss something. Basecamp. I manage all my projects at Basecamp, and I'm a little frustrated with it right now, so I'm looking for a new one because I want automated tasks basically to repeat on a monthly basis or whenever I get a new client. So there's a new one that's called Team PM, I think is something like that I'm going to go look at. So, that's a tough thing for me, is the project management side of things. So keeping clients happy. This is probably one of the most important things, and I have always been really good at this just because I've been in sales for so long. Like in real estate, location, location, location. When you first talk to a client, from the very first moment to the time you sign them to 12 months after you have been working with them, you need to continually be setting expectations and setting expectations and setting expectations. I remind and constantly remind my clients about this world that we're in, that it's the wild, wild west. You can't control the business when you're basing your business off of another business, meaning Google. So there's always going to be failure. There's always going to be a change. There's always going to be an update. There's always going to be something broken. So you have to continually put that into your clients' minds that it's going to break, because it does. I mean, something always happens. We're going to have awesome rankings, and then they're going to completely disappear. Inside of my 12 months of doing this, I've had it happen multiple times, but I haven't lost a single client. I've actually, each time I've got that happen, they've paid me more. And it's because of the way that I've set my expectations in the very, very beginning and how I've gone about the business. Again, remember, I don't know how to do the majority of this stuff. So a lot of it's relationship. I mean, it's all relationship, and it's all about building that relationship and working on that relationship and creating that relationship and building those expectations. The first month, obviously, it's the setup. One of the most important things when you're doing the setup, get your client's birthday. They need it for Google Places or whatever. Call it whatever you need. You can then send them a card when their birthday comes around, or call them, or send them an email, or do all three. I mean, this is a relationship business. You have to understand that. So always get their birthday card. I call and send emails weekly for the first month. Very important, all over them. I send texts with accomplishments. I always have my clients' cell phone numbers. So if I see something move, and a lot of times they'll move, the way I do my business, I can get movement inside of the first month, and then I lose it usually. But that's because of how I do things. So I always send them texts so that they get this instant gratification. But again, I'm always setting the expectations. Don't forget that. And then I always send them a Starbucks gift card. Now I do this in a couple different ways. When I have a client and sets an appointment with me, whether it's virtually or in person, I actually have a stack of $5 Starbucks cards sitting on my desk. And once I take that phone call and I got their business, I write a thank you and put it in the mail before I have the meeting. That $5 has made me more money than any of you could possibly imagine. And it's because you're just taking the time. It's a handwritten card. It's just so important to do, and this has nothing to do with the daily work or anything like that. It's just relationship. Second and third month, I call and email biweekly, just making sure that I'm staying in touch and staying in front of them. You know, I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of the failures, the possible, you know, wherever we're at. I make sure that, you know, again, we're setting expectations, and then I always take them to lunch each month, just to get an idea. And if you're doing it virtually, you know, then you just make sure you have an overview call, like a very, very specific overview call, because again, you gotta make sure you're establishing that long-term relationship. Then the 4th plus month, do what the relationship dictates. And what I mean by that, you know, some clients could care less about anything. Some clients want reporting on a monthly basis. Some clients want, you know, hand-holding. You got to just do whatever the relationship dictates. And then after that, you ask for referrals. Don't ever ask for referrals until you've got success. You know, I've seen so many people fail with that. It's just crazy. Don't do, you know, wait. Make sure you've got a good relationship and you're actually providing a solution for them. And you know, I've never asked for referrals until I've gotten to that point, and it works extremely well. I have one of my clients that has given me multiple really, really high-level clients, and so that's an important thing. So what have I learned? Now this is, you know, I started this from scratch, having no clue or idea of what I was going to do or what I was doing. And that was my biggest failure. That was my biggest problem. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to focus on, or how to do it, or whatever it was. And the moment I said, you know what, I just need to just focus on one thing and just do it, that's when everything started to really start to take off. You have to simplify your offers and focus first on what you're comfortable with. So what I realized I was comfortable with was doing the local SEO and websites. So that's all I did. I didn't try and throw in social media. I didn't try and throw in text messaging. I didn't try and throw in anything. I just did that. And once I did that, I was able to start then getting clients rapidly. And I want to tell one thing about people. I hear this all the time. I don't understand it. People say that there's a long sales cycle in what we do. I have the lowest or the fastest sales cycle on the planet. I talked to that tanning salon, you know, on Friday, and I got the signed contract yesterday. My client previous to that, I had a meeting with them and a signed contract the next day. The people that will do business with you will do business with you right away. But also don't forget about the people that you've met with. I have a quote out there from a year ago when I started. I still follow up with them every month. They still haven't done anything, and I'll probably still get that client at some point. So you can't ever give up, but you also have to understand the sales cycle is actually very, very short. It's just a matter of understanding those businesses that need it, and you know, needing it right away.
Exactly.
Target one to
let me stop you for a second,
okay,
because we're trying to hold it right to an hour, and I want to ask you questions. Do you mind just putting that whole slide up there, and then I can ask you questions?
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. Sorry, I don't mean to rush you. It's just that
nope.
I have this new commitment to not going over on calls.
Yeah.
Just because I have the worst rep of like long calls, so I'm doing my best.
No
all right, I want to hammer you with questions if that's cool.
I love it.
All right. Absolute best niche when you were first starting out. Let's go with niches since you got it on the screen.
When I first started out, I actually fell into more of the construction niche, which was the HVAC, the plumbers, and all those types of things. So I just kept going down that route. And then the niche that I'm focusing on moving forward completely is the dental market. Okay, so you started in contractors, if you will, construction. What was your average? Now, remind me, Portland, Seattle, you're in Seattle, right? Seattle. All right, average fee you charge somebody in that niche. Would you charge an AC company? Well, my overall average for all my clients is over $1,000, about $1,005, and I charge an AC company between $1,000 and $1,497. How did you come up with that price? I just pulled it out of the air. Well, I will tell you, if you think you sell a unit for $6K, they're going to profit roughly $2K, if not a little more. So one deal pays the whole cost of your services, so it's a no-brainer. I mean, that's a great price. Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
let me ask you this. If you were not in Seattle, if you were east of Eastern Washington, some small town of 50,000 people, could you get the same price, or do you think you'd have to come off that?
I would probably have to come off that or target a different type of a market. I mean, there's the money's out there. No matter where you're at, you have to understand where your market is and what is the major business in that marketplace. So, you know, if you're over in that area, the dental market, I mean, people still have to go to the dentist, right? So, and then, or the AC market, it's just a little bit of a different, where I'm in more of the heating market. That's
Yep.
the AC market. So I believe that you can still charge those prices no matter where you're at in the country.
All right, Zach, what is the trick to make your sales cycle short? This is from someone who's using a fake name. So ASD, I'm asking your question, but next time, come on, put in a name. I like to call out people's names. So anyway, do you have a trick, or does it just sort of happen that your sales cycle is short? Is there a
No,
strategy?
I mean, I think I have very specific strategy about how I make my sales strategy or sales cycle very short. A lot of it has to do with obviously identifying someone that needs it right then. But I set it up in a way that basically I'm extremely professional. First off, very put together contract, very put together presentation. Everything is answered in the presentation, in the contract, and I ask for the sale after I've done it.
All right, I like that. And most people don't do that. It's funny, and I used to not do it either. That's the key. You guys have to ask for the business, or they're not going to give it to you.
No.
Zach, from Lee Price, Lee says, how do you know, or how did you know what to look for in a pay-per-click outsourcer? And where did you find that person? Did you use an agency? Did you hire a freelancer? What did you do?
I actually hire freelancers, and I will only take people that are from the UK, the US, or Australia. So I pay a
Okay,
lot
I
of
like
money
it.
for my guys.
All right, so, and Odesk, is that what you used, did you say?
Yep, Odesk.
Okay, Odesk. And Heidi, yes, Heidi, there will be a replay. All right, so we talked about niches, we talked about pricing. Do you have set packages, or do you custom price based upon the opportunity?
Set package.
Okay, what are your package prices, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, I guess I misunderstood I only have one
I know you have
package.
services that you do, and I remember you put that slide up, but in terms of if somebody wants your service number 3, you know, whatever that may be, something to do with local search, let's say, do you custom price it based upon who they are?
Yes, I only have one package. Just so everybody's very clear about this, I have one package and only one package. I do, and then I have add-ons to that package, and I price every single package based off of the feel. Like, you know, how much search volume, how large is the population in the area,
Yep,
and
yep.
then the feel of the client.
All right, Zach, I'm just going to rattle them out because I got to shut this down, but I'm loving this call, by the way. But do you do keyword research for your clients? If so, do you do it or do you outsource it?
I do it myself because I can do it quickly, and
Yep.
I believe that is so important. There are certain things that you have to do as an individual in the beginning because, you know, my company's not big enough yet for me to have a dedicated person, but that is so important that I do it myself.
All right, how about, let me see, I'm reading other people's questions too. So how about, Bob asked where you're located. We did that one. How do you find someone to do, Larry was asking about WordPress and template WordPress sites. You use Odesk, I think is the answer, right?
Yeah, and I learned this. So I originally had a WordPress guy that could design and develop at the same time,
Yep.
and I then later on I hired a designer only. So now I have a strict developer and a strict designer. So my designer designs my sites, and then my developer codes them.
Zach, what do you pay for the design part, and what do you pay for the development? Now, who slices the imagery up to create the theme, or do you not even go that far? Do you just take existing designs and work them into, like, say, a prepackaged theme?
So I've built 3 of my own custom themes that have guts to them. So I actually, if I wanted to, like for example, if my guy was out, I could load my theme myself and have it up in a day. But I have, from a custom websites, they're designed by my designer and then sliced by a developer, and they're from scratch.
Okay.
And then for my clients that don't use my custom themes, I just get one from Woo Themes and load it and go with it.
All right, I do the same thing. on the Lucene side. What if a potential client already has a website? This is Irina. And how do you handle the redo? Do you just start from scratch in WordPress? Do you inspire off their site? What do you do on a redo of a site, I guess she's asking.
When I usually, almost all of my clients, I just completely rebuild their site from scratch and put it onto WordPress. Because what I've found is when I get a client, I haven't found one yet that's got a good website. So
yeah,
I don't
no
know,
doubt. All right, Mario P is asking, Zach, do you? Oops, I started pacing around the office while we're talking. Mario, I forgot your question. It says, Zach, do your customers want another website that they own, i.e. their own website branded separate from your local SEO site?
if they do, they have to pay for it. So and this is what so my package is so cheap in the setup because I own the site and the URL. If they want to own it.
Oh, well, let me tie that into his next question. And is your contract month to month or annual, and do you own the site? So in this case, would you own the site?
Yeah, it's always month to month. I never do any long-term contracts with any clients unless I'm financing them.
Okay, and so do you do, okay, here's one that I've been getting this all the time, and the answer to me is I don't do this model. I would love to hear if you did this model. Do you actually do site leasing? Like, would you generate on a per lead basis and charge them that way, not on a monthly fee?
No, I won't do that.
Me either, guys. I got to be honest. Listen to the success Zach has had from 0 in a year. Obviously, he's a go-getter. I mean, he's made it happen in 2 or 3 other businesses. But, you guys, the problem with that per lead model is they never want to pay you. They don't want to pay you. And unless you really have it ironclad, have a good contract, and a really sweet system, it's hard to make it work. But I'm going to keep getting, as part of the revised, I guess, Offline Renegades, I have 2 guest speakers, you guys, coming up that are going to talk on site leasing. So Zach is officially my first call of the new Renegades group. So and it's kind of fitting since he's almost a day 1 member. Heidi asked, Zach, do you offer mobile sites plus a main site, or do you mobile sites and add-on, I imagine?
Oh, so here's the magic. I have a responsive theme. Every website I build is mobile enabled from the get-go. I don't have to rebuild anything. If it recognizes a mobile phone, it just adjusts the CSS and it loads a different one that's scaled down. So if you change anything on the main site, it changes on the mobile site.
All right, let's see. I am looking. I think we hit every question. All right, I'm going to ask you 1 or 2, and then I got to shut it down because I am going to my networking lunch too, guys, because we all have clients and we have to work. So how much time do you spend a week prospecting? Like right now, I'm going to go have lunch with somebody I probably don't even like, but it's in one of my networking groups, and she wants to, this is like a one-on-one meeting, and I expect to sign some amount of business with her today. How much time do you spend prospecting in one way or another, whether it's direct mail, direct email, cold calling, going to networking groups, whatever you do? How much time a week?
Do you want my honest answer?
How much did you do at the start? Now give me the honest answer.
Okay. I do 0 right now because I get referrals, and then my prospecting is then giving the quotes and following up and doing that. And that's why I'm revamping this. So I'm going to be probably spending 20% of my time on a weekly basis devoted to just lead generation. When I first started, that's all I did. I didn't even care about the work. All I did was every day send emails, send videos, send everything, boom, 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 until I got the business, and I kept doing it. I never stopped. And then once I got enough money to pay my bills, I pulled back on it and then started focusing on my business.
All right, Zach, do you have like 10 more minutes? Let me ask you. Do you have 10 minutes?
I got as much time as you want.
Leanne, are you live on the call right now? Leanne, I know you're there. She's probably on mute. Hey, Zach, all right, this is what you call trust. I'm making you an organizer. You guys, I have to go to my client meeting, so I'm going to continue this call from the car. Zach, when we're done, will you just end the webinar for me? Just hit File, Close on Go to Webinar. Zach, did I lose you?
Yep. Oh, what do you want me to do?
Oh, when we're done talking, will you end the webinar?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And Leanne, if you, or Zach, if you can now see the questions at the bottom, if you want to answer any of them. But I'm going to get in my car, you guys, because I'm going to make some money today. But let's see. So continuing where we left off, this is what you call real-world OR calls. Continuing where we left off. So on the mobile sites, I mean, I use a lot of the same themes you probably do from Woo Themes. What's your take on those kind of sites versus, say, a custom mobile site designed from somebody like, I don't know, Brick and Mobile, Mobistro, somebody like that, or using Flatly and plugins, you know, something that was completely designed from the ground up to be mobile rather than to be, you know, converted, if you will, using the on the fly by detecting the device.
I actually think everything is going to be going to responsive design, so I'm not even building mobile sites that are standalone anymore. I've stopped that about 4 months ago, and I've only gone to responsive design. And actually, my themes that I built are all responsive design, but they're very, very thin. I actually can choose my own menu structure and make individual pages inside of it. So I truly believe everything is going to go to responsive design, and that the individuals, the redirects, it's going to lose. It's not going to win.
Yeah, I wonder too. Now, the one business that I see value in at least today, in a custom mobile site, is restaurant and, you know, in retail. But outside of like those niches, I just don't know. I mean, I'm trying to get big on the mobile bandwagon. You know, I have some white label mobile technology. I think I own every possible mobile platform out there. And I agree. I mean, you just got to wonder, do you want to go through 2 development cycles? Now, if your lead-in product, imagine this, you start today, you have none of the background you have right now, and your lead-in product is mobile. What do you think about the approach? I know some of the OR people do this. What do you think about the approach of leading with the mobile site by showing them the way their site's not visible, talking about maybe a quarter to a third of all their searchers don't even, you know, are on a mobile device, they can't see the site or it's worthless to them and they just immediately leave. Do you see value if you were starting from a new business and you wanted mobile to be your anchor product, of leading with a mobile site as your kind of linchpin of your strategy? Do you see any value in that?
I see a tremendous amount of value in that, but you have to pick the right niche. Don't go do that to somebody that doesn't need a mobile site. It's got to be the
That's right.
restaurant. It's got to be those different types of things. I actually built a complete WordPress theme it's a mobile. It's all it is a mobile site. So, you know, when I started my business, that was, you know, I believed in mobile. I mean, it's huge, and so I built the theme so that I could have mobile sites built for my clients just in, you know, 20 minutes. I went away from that because my clients aren't restaurants. They're dentist practice, they're HVAC guys. So I built the responsive theme inside of my theme so that I didn't have to go through that process of rebuilding it. But I believe that that is a very powerful thing, especially when you're talking about putting custom coupons on, custom landing pages, that if you're doing advertising inside of AdMob or something like that, I truly believe that's a good way of going.
All right, what is your most expensive client in terms of what you bill them? For, let's just say, do you have any clients that you bill more than $2,000 a month? And I don't know the answer to this, guys. I'm just asking you as I go. I'm in my car, so I'm not saying begging anybody.
3,400.
3,400. Okay, that's phenomenal. Now, what do you do for that work? Is it a combination of services, or is it one thing?
One thing. Local SEO.
Local SEO. I like it. And what about? We talked about websites. Somebody comes to you and they basically, you know, it's a small client, it's an AC guy. He needs a website. You don't want to do it. It's 500, maybe $1,000, 1,200 bucks. Do you refer it to a partner? Do you do it anyway to get the residual AC, you know, the ongoing SEO business? What do you do in that case?
I've actually never had that happen. I've always been able to turn it into a full-blown monthly deal. So
No, I'm sorry. No, it's a full-blown monthly deal. So maybe I misunderstood. So you find AC client in suburb of Seattle, let's say one of those names, I don't know, Redmond, right? Something like that. It's the only one I can think of right now.
Yep.
And the guy's a medium, you know, they got, I don't know, 5 trucks, they've got a small office, you know, less than 10 employees. Now, they're willing to pay you monthly the $1,000 you want, but you know they need a new site. How do you price that? And do you do the site? Do you charge a lot? Do you build it into the SEO? What do you do there?
Well, basically, that's my new business model, which is purely that. And so all of my clients that I bring on that are new monthly, they all get a brand new site. And I build those out on my own custom themes. My last client that I just did was a dentist. From the signing of the contract to the site being live with a total of 10 pages and complete custom design was 5 days, all content. And so I will take on something. It's like basically the coupon, trying to get someone in my door. I'll give the site away basically to get them monthly.
I do the same thing, you guys, and the reason why I ask this is sometimes it's a lost lead to get that recurring revenue. My whole business model on my end is all recurring revenue. I don't want to have to reinvent my business every month. How am I going to get to 10, 20, 50K a month? I want that revenue to carry forward. Now, I do have attrition, and Zach, why don't we close it out with this question? Why don't you talk about client attrition? Do you have it? Have you seen it? And how do you kind of manage it to maintain your install base?
I haven't had it yet. I have not had a client leave me, so I could see one coming. I could see one coming, but who knows?
Yeah, so how often do you talk? I know you said you go to lunch or something with your local clients at least once a month.
Yeah.
You buy them lunch. Now, how often do you talk to your clients on a monthly basis?
Like, for example, the one that pays me $3,400 a month.
I bet you talk to them a lot.
I talk to them a lot. There's certain clients that I don't talk to at all for multiple months. I have to pound them and beg them for them to communicate with me. And I just accept that. They just keep paying the bills. They're doing great, yep. So no problem there whatsoever. But my biggest thing is I can recognize immediately which ones I need to stay in communication with and which ones I don't. And so I just.
What about reporting? How often do you trigger Raven tools?
Once a month.
Okay, I do mine twice. Okay, I like that. You can get a lot more, obviously, tangible changes and stuff over a monthly basis for sure. Yeah. Now, what about, okay, and then I really am going to be at this meeting, but I'm having too much fun on this call. So what about on Raven Tools, when you dump all that report data, even if you segment it down and maybe you're just showing them rank data, rank tracking changes, how do you make it make sense to them? Do you put an email that says, hey, this is where we're doing well, this is where we're doing poorly, where we need to work on, or do you just let the report speak for itself?
So I learned a lesson in mortgage a long time ago, which I brought over to this one. When I started utilizing Jing and video, my closing percentage doubled in mortgage. So what I do now with all of my clients, any communication that I have with them is not by email, nor is it by phone, it's by video. So I go over every single report in great detail within a 5-minute time span and send it to them.
I like it. I don't do that. I write little bullets to make it more personable, and then I talk to them on the phone. But I got to try that. I mean, it gives it a more personal touch without you having to call and get hung up on the phone forever.
Yep. Main reason why I do it is because I don't like to be hung up on the phone for such a long period of time.
Well, listen, Zach, man, this has been a phenomenal call, and I know you were very gracious in scheduling this and giving us your time. I want to tell you thank you, and we'll send you the replay, and we'll share with everybody on the call the replay. I think this is it. Now, I will tell everybody on the call I have a new piece of software that is a lead gen tool that I'm having branded right now for OR, and it's designed to go after data in Manta. So it's just another way to generate leads, and I'm going to share that out with everybody probably next week. I'm just waiting on a little logo version of it right now. But no cost, it's just a gift. But Zach, I want to tell you thanks, and if you don't mind ending the call or killing GoToMeeting, that would be awesome.
No problem. I'll do that. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Thanks, Leanne. Thank you, everybody else. Bye-bye.
Just one thing before I leave. This was the site that I built in 5 days. Oops, sorry, my screen just went blank. This one is a client of mine that I brought on. And basically, from get-go to it going live was 5 days with all the content, blog posts, footer, everything. And this is a template that I have that I can load up. My designer did all the design work of all these sliders and all the sidebar. And then my developer did, he loaded it, and I gave him the content. I got all of the content from mywriter.com, and it was good. So just wanted to leave you all with that. And thanks again for listening to this. And
Hey, Zach,
yeah.
quick question. So this is one of the themes that has the mobile enabled?
Yep, responsive design.
Okay, because it looks pretty hefty as far as content. It's got a slider, but you say enough to load mobile site.
Yeah, so what happens, what my developer built for me is basically what he does is it creates a new menu set inside of, you know how WordPress has a menus? You can choose custom menus. Well, we have a mobile menu theme. So basically, this slider isn't part of this theme. This is the content of the page. So when you load the page onto that menu set, it only brings up this, and it will bring up limited stuff, and then I have a footer widget for it. I hope I actually made it all work. I have a footer widget for it that puts it in there. So I choose which menus I want to show up on the mobile theme.
Okay, and you can do that on a theme basis?
Yeah, so I have it. It's a script that I had my guy build that is onto this particular theme itself. And so, I have my own mobile website theme that I built in WordPress. It's pretty robust, but I didn't like having to build new mobile sites every time I got a new client. So what I did instead was just create the mobile portion of it. So if you go to it on your phone, it's actually enabled. The whole entire thing is. So I'm going to update it.
Can you put the URL into the chat?
Yeah. Just don't call this guy, please, everybody.
No.
And it's actually, you know what, I just realized it. I pulled it up on my phone. It's enabled, but I have the whole entire thing enabled right now. And I'll update it so that you can look at it the right way, because I just launched this and I totally forgot to do that portion. Where do I put it in the chat? I don't think I have the ability to.
Oh, why did you tell me what it is?
It's just dentistmarysville.net.
Okay, I'll just pop that in.
All right. Any other calls, Leanne? Or any questions, Leanne?
Let me see if there's any.
I'll even show you.
I know Jeff asked about your sales presentation, how you're finding qualified leads now.
My leads are actually all referrals now, and so I don't actually go out there. I'm going to be starting to do that again, and I'll just do it the exact same way I did before, which was all through video. So I created a video. Again, if you go to, I don't know if I can I type www. Send to all. So this is what I don't know how to spell. So this is what I did when I was first starting out. I just basically created a WordPress optimized press thing. Could record a video. You don't even need to record a video using your face. You could just do it utilizing screencast. And then I just sent it to all of the chiropractors, and I got leads that way. They called me or filled out the form, and then I just did a physical presentation with them, just like I did with today.
Okay, and you said that you sent an email and that you would be happy to share that email. Do you want to share that with me in Skype, and I can
I can do
kind
that.
of create a PDF?
It's no joke. It is a 3-sentence email, and I stole it from Frank Kern.
Oh, do you want to just say what it is?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Okay.
It's the subject line is bad news, and then something is the email only has 3 sentences, and it got an extremely high open rate. Worked well for me.
Cool, and then you just sent them to a squeeze page, and that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Got it.
So here I'll show you my menu set, how it works on my responsive design. So then basically I can create a new mobile theme, which I was really bad about. I forgot this.
Oh, I see. And then you just pick and choose what
Yeah,
goes
so that,
into the
yeah,
menu. Got it.
exactly. So I don't even remember which. I'll just put a couple in there. Meet the team, testimonial.
This is just like building out a nav bar.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go.
Yeah.
Right there, I'll just save the menu. Oops, and then welcome to Marysville up there. Oops. Meet the team, save the menu. And then basically I have also in my a widget area that's for the mobile. Which one is it? He doesn't have it installed. And then my theme options. Basically, it's just, I have all this stuff that I can easily add in. And then, the logo, I can select a page for the home page, which is welcome to Marysville. I can put the phone number in so it's a click to call, which I did not do, so I should probably do that. So you guys made me do some work today. And if you're going to go to the website, please everybody +1 it. Just do that for me. How does that work? That's one thing I would like everybody to do. Privacy. Let's go to.
It also looks like you've got that site set up with some nice plugins. I can also contact you afterwards if you want to share the plugins that you use.
Yeah, I have a very specific set, and it's pretty similar to what Ryan's is. I have a couple others that I utilize that are a little bit different, but for the most part, they're all the same.
And I'll post them with the replay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's it. So geez, thanks a lot, Zach. This call has really been terrific.
No problem. It was enjoyable.
All right, everyone. I will get this recorded and share this out with all of you. And thanks again. And we went over Brian's rule of an hour. Oops.
Oh, well. That's life.
All right. Right. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And thank
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.